Success shouldn't feel this exhausting. If you're winning on paper, but burning out behind the scenes, you aren't failing. You're stuck in a psychological bottleneck called a hurdle of stop. I've been there. On the outside, things look great, but I was secretly burning out, convinced I was just lucky, and waiting to be exposed as a fraud. I realized I didn't have a business problem. I had a mindset block. Whether it's imposter syndrome, perfectionism, or fear or failure, these aren't just feelings. They are growth bottlenecks. Identify your specific hurdle and get one immediate action step to regain your momentum today. Go to tuepodcast.net/quiz. That's tuepodcast.net/quiz to take the 3-minute assessment and get your report now. This is an Undiscovered Legacy production and proud member of PodNation TV Network. Hello, Scoop Believers, and welcome to episode number 97. Gosh, we're getting so close to 100 of the Undiscovered Entrepreneur. Get across the start line, and it's me, Scoob. Coming at you at whatever device you happen to be listening on. All right, so today we're going to go right into it, and today's entrepreneur, kind of an experienced entrepreneur. This is David, now a former divorce lawyer who transformed his life after a serious health wake-up call in 2016, losing 50 pounds and keeping it off while writing 5 books on healthy living. At age 67, he successfully hiked Mount Kilimanjaro, proving that age doesn't have to limit health and fitness achievements. Now known as the Health Guy, he helps corporations and entrepreneurs maintain healthy lifestyles so they can fully enjoy their success and reduce costly employee turnover. So today, let's listen to David. Are you ready to unlock your entrepreneur potential? Are you ready to break free from all the barriers holding you back? Then you've come to the right place. Welcome to the Undiscovered Entrepreneur, your first step in getting across the start line. I'm your host and guide, Scoop, and I'm here with one mission: to help you overcome the obstacles standing between you and the start of your adventure. Whether you're dreaming of launching a startup, creating the next big app, or turning your passion into a thriving business, this podcast is your launch pad. Together we'll navigate the challenges, overcome hidden boundaries that stop us from starting, and learn how to overcome them with the help of others and experience them right along with you. So are you ready to take that crucial step to transform from aspiring to inspiring? Then let's get across that start line together. Right here, right now, on the Undiscovered Entrepreneur. Salutations, Scoop Believers, and we are here again with another amazing entrepreneur. Today we're here with David. Hey, David, how are you?
I'm doing great, Jesse. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to be on the Undiscovered Entrepreneur. We're going to talk about some amazing stuff here. All right, so before we do anything here, I want to ask you a semi-serious question, David. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right, awesome. Are you a Scoop Believer?
I am.
All right. Thank you for being a Scoop Believer, David. I super appreciate you. So what I'd like to do here at the very beginning is just get an idea of who you are, what your entrepreneur adventure is, and how you got across the start line.
When I was in my 20s and 30s, I was fit and trim like most people. However, like most people, life gets in the way with family obligations, work responsibilities. I'm a former divorce lawyer, and I practice a solo practice, very stressful, especially practicing family law. Over the years, I stopped exercising. I started eating fast foods, convenient foods, and the weight crept up on me. I got my wake-up call in July of 2016 when my doctor told me, based on my lab results, that I was a fatal heart attack. That was my wake-up call. During the next 4 months, I shed 50 pounds, which is 25% of my total body weight. More importantly, I kept it off. Since then, I've written 5 books on living a healthy lifestyle, and I am helping other corporations and entrepreneurs stay healthy so they can enjoy their lifestyle and the money that they're earning. And I can tell you that being a lawyer who's a solo practitioner is the same as being an entrepreneur. And there's a lot of things you can go wrong.
Yeah, that's for sure. We got to be careful about that. I notice a lot of I work out in the world, and I notice that a lot of I'm going to kind of get into it here. The younger generation seems to be like asphyxiated having high energy and doing whatever it takes to have that high energy. At night, I'm a server, so I see a lot of these servers downing energy drinks, energy shots, energy this, and energy that, and I can only imagine what that's doing to us as in our bodies.
Oh, that stuff is toxic, it's poisonous, and you don't really need it. You'll have all the energy you need if you eat healthy and live a healthy lifestyle. When I was in my 20s and 30s, I remember some managers telling me, party hard and play hard because life is short. And my attitude was, if I take care of my body, I take care of myself, I can extend my life and enjoy more. They have long since passed and are gone, and I'm still here kicking. And also in June of 2022, at age 67, I hiked up Mount Kilimanjaro. So you shouldn't let age be a factor as to being healthy.
Yeah, that's for sure. Do you know of any maybe kind of alternatives to the energy drinks? You say eat healthy and that kind of thing, but if I need an energy boost real quick, besides I don't want to take one of these energy drinks or shots or anything, is there something else I can use that's a little more healthy than that?
Actually, black coffee is healthy for you, gives you energy. Black tea, green tea, unsweetened will give you energy. Honey, raw honey, make sure it's the pure raw honey because about 60% of the honey on the grocery store shelves are adulterated or fake. So you want to make sure that you're getting so apple cider vinegar with raw honey in some 8 ounces of water will give you energy.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. I didn't think about that one. A lot of those, I drink black coffee, but I think I drink more than I really should. But but I know it's better than those energy drinks. But I didn't think about the apple vinegar and honey.
Yeah, apple cider vinegar and honey in a glass of water, 8 ounces of water or more will give you energy. I learned that from Paul Bragg. He was the founder of the first health food stores in the United States. He was also the mentor and teacher for Jack LaLanne.
Oh, there's a name I recognize.
Yeah, most people know Jack LaLanne and not as much as Paul Bragg. However, most people recognize Bragg apple cider vinegar, and he's the one that created it.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. That's awesome. So, as observing all that you have, what do you think is the one thing that stops entrepreneurs from getting across the start line? Let's kind of look at that kind of health wise.
A lot of times when we're attempting to make money, which is why people do certain things, we will sacrifice our health in pursuit of wealth. And as we get older, we're spending our wealth in pursuit of health. And so you need to find a balance in there. What stops a lot of entrepreneurs from getting started is not knowing what to do or not having the right resources or not knowing to ask the right questions. So a lot of times we just don't know what we don't know. For me, being a lawyer, I thought I knew things and then found out I didn't know a lot of things. And people will come to me and say, hey, can you help me start an LLC or a corporation or file a patent or a trademark? I'm like, no, that's outside my expertise. I hire other attorneys who know what they're doing to take care of forming the LLC, the corporation, the patents, the trademark correctly. So again, entrepreneurs, you have to figure out number one, what you're passionate about, what you want to do, because when you're passionate about it, it's no longer work. And then you have to figure out the right questions to ask the experts who can help you and form a team. And I know entrepreneurs are supposed to be individuals who work on their own. However, everybody needs a team to support them and give them advice. So that's my suggestion is to make sure you get a great team around you, whether it be an IT team, a marketing team, a sales team, a legal team. There's all sorts of things you need before you jump in with both feet and also have a business plan. Make sure you know how you're going to get to where you want to go.
Exactly. We can't be afraid to ask the questions. And I think that's what a lot I run into a lot too, is sometimes we're afraid to ask the questions because we think we're going to look like an idiot because we're asking these questions. But as most teachers like to say, no question is a bad question, right? But that rings true when it comes to entrepreneurship too. You have to be able to ask the questions to get the answer so you can move on. If you're afraid to ask these questions, you're not going to get the answer and go anywhere.
Exactly. And I learned very early in my legal career, when I came out of law school, I would ask the paralegals for help. I would ask my legal secretary for help. And they're like shocked that I was asking them for their input. The paralegals had more knowledge and experience than I did, and they were happy to help me. And they told me most lawyers who come out of law school think they know it all and don't want to ask for help. I took the opposite approach and would ask for help. And I was very grateful and appreciative. And I got a lot further ahead by acknowledging that I didn't know certain things and asking for people's help, because you never know what they can do for you. So with my legal secretaries, I gave them carte blanche to either make the pleading sound better or a letter sound better. And then I would, of course, review and edit it. However, it's good to get other people's input. And again, a lot of times they make a suggestion that you don't agree with. It's good to have a discussion as to why. And sometimes you can be persuaded in the other direction.
As long as we keep an open mind about the answers that we're getting from the questions that we're asking.
Exactly. A good example is I do have a playing card game that I created and have a patent on it. And it's a golf card game, very expensive. And I asked the wrong questions. And it's cost me about $70,000, because what I learned is golf courses don't want to sell it. Wives don't want to buy it because their husbands are on the golf course on Sundays or Saturdays and not with the family. And it was a game that is a fun game, but it was the name that was turning people off.
Mm.
And I didn't ask the right questions. I listened to people who said, this is going to be fantastic. I did the wrong research about how many golf courses there are, how many people play golf, etc., and the price of the card game and everything. So we are changing it now to a pirate theme.
Ooh, okay, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, and we're gonna call it Cutthroat.
Ah,
And so it's not available yet. We're still working on the graphics because, again, it was a very expensive lesson. I don't believe in mistakes. They're learning or I'm winning.
there you go. Remember that one, everybody. Not that's a
Yeah,
good saying. I
so
like that.
I just look at it as that it was a learning lesson, and it was investment, and it was an expensive one. So we're moving forward. So if you make a mistake and you feel you still have a great idea, keep moving forward. Unless you find out that what your idea is not going to be profitable, or you made some wrong assumptions, or were given some bad advice.
There you go. Yeah, I really think, especially nowadays, we give kind of like mistakes and failures kind of a bad name. We really have to, I personally think we really have to celebrate failures, because if you fail something, at least you've learned something out of it, as long as we have the mindset to understand that we're learning something from it.
Yeah, one thing I learned is the word mistake from Hollywood is where you'll see the clapperboard and they'll say, take whatever number it is. And if they mistake it, they reshoot it until they get it right. And so that's a good way to think about a mistake. It's just a mistake.
Oh boy, I'm going to keep that one if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love
Not
it.
my original. That's why I said I learned it from someone else. I'm happy to share.
That's how these wonderful things get, this wonderful information gets across to other people. We heard it from somewhere who heard it from someone, and we're using it now. So yeah, that's fantastic. So what was kind of like the thing that stopped? Did you have anything that actually stopped you from getting across the start line in your business?
My business now is being in corporate health and wellness. And at first I wasn't credentialed. And people would always ask me, are you a medical doctor? No. Are you a licensed nutritionist? No. Are you a dietitian? No. Are you a trainer? No. What certifications do you have? And so I felt uneasy with that because it was my own personal experiences. And then someone took me aside and said, how many years you been doing this? And I said, 8. And they said, no. Weren't you in your 20s and 30s when you were into health and nutrition and reading books and doing everything? I said, yes. And they said, you got 40 years experience. And they said, you're a lawyer. You have a law degree and you're an attorney. That's a credential because he explained, look, you're able to do research. You're able to sift through the fiction, the facts, and the opinions and weed out what is actually beneficial. Because in health, if you ask one professional, they'll tell you one thing. If you ask a second professional, whether it be a medical doctor, nutritionist, they'll tell you just the opposite. And then a third professional will say the first two are both wrong. So who or what do you trust and act upon and believe? And that's where I come in and sift through everything. And I believe if you aren't credentialed, it shouldn't hold you back because a lot of people have life experiences that are sometimes more valuable than a credential. I have a lot of relatives that were very, very successful financially and never got past high school with a degree. And if you think about it, Bill Gates and Steve Jobs never graduated college. I don't think people are asking them what their credentials are.
That's right. And I come across that a lot from entrepreneurs that are experiencing imposter syndrome, which is one of the hurdles that I talk about. And it's not so much as the fact that you have a credential. Sometimes experience will speak far and beyond credentials, because we could all learn how to have a credential. It's all something that's set aside. These are the books that you read. And so we all have that same experience when it comes to credentials. But having the actual physical experience, things that have happened to you, things that you've read about that's outside of that box, sometimes could be more beneficial than just having a credential. So don't let that stop you.
Exactly. And the reason I bring it up is I told my wife, I've come full circle. And she goes, what do you mean? I said, when I got out of college, I wanted to open a health club, a health store. And I never did. And when I was in my 20s and 30s and fit and trim, I was very judgmental. I look at people and I think, why are you eating that cookie? Why are you eating that McDonald's? Why are you eating this crap when you know better? And then I ended up doing all that, gaining the weight. And I explained to her, I had to go through the experience of being fat. I had to go through the frustration, the embarrassment, so that I could relate to clients. Because when I say, I understand what you're going through, I'm true and honest about it because I did. Going to someone who's in their 20s and 30s who's never experienced that, they don't understand what you're going through. Yet they may have their credential that they're certified in something. Who would you rather work with? Someone who's got the experience, been through it, and understands what you're going through, or someone who, like you said, has read the book, taken the test, got the certificate, and will tell you what to do without understanding what you're going through.
Yeah, experience definitely speaks many, many words over what a lot of people will have when they're only 20s and 30s and just have the credential.
And one other thing I'd like to add to that, when I was practicing law, I was in court and an attorney stood up and said, I've been practicing law for 40 years and Mr. Medansky's brand new. He doesn't know what he's doing. And the judge looked at him and said, he may be brand new. And just because you've been doing it for 40 years doesn't mean you've been doing it right.
And maybe you've been doing it for 40 years wrong.
So again, just because someone's been doing it for a long time doesn't mean they've been doing it right. Keep that in mind, especially as an entrepreneur and you have an idea. Don't be discouraged or listen to people who are going to put you down. Be around people that are going to be encouraging, supportive, and empowering you.
Exactly. We are the sum of the 5 people that we hang around most. So we want to make sure that those people are positive people that are willing to help you and push you along in whatever you're doing and supportive. Because if you get a lot of negative people around you, you're not going to get very far.
Exactly. And again, I will have discussions with medical doctors who like to prescribe medications and write prescriptions. And I'll look at them and say, hey, food is a medicine, sugar is a drug, it's addicting, it's more addicting than cocaine, has a lot of negative side effects. The book Sugar Blues by William Duffy is written in 1977 and it's excellent, still relevant today. And I'll say, here are the 9 simple golden rules for living a healthy lifestyle. Which one of these can you refute? And they'll look and they'll say, none of them. I said, okay. And that's where I come across, because everybody has their own little supplements, their little products, their methods, and everybody thinks theirs is the best. Not one size fits all. So again, you got to be careful and figure out what's going to work for you. And as an entrepreneur, you have to figure out what's going to be best for you. And you have to have a balance. Some entrepreneurs are single. They're not involved in a family. They don't have kids. They don't have a spouse. Others, they do. So again, what's going to work for you as an entrepreneur to get yourself going and get through the hurdles of, like you said, first starting. And I think it was Zig Ziglar says, you don't have to be great to start. However, you do have to start to be great.
That's right. And that's one of the guys I listen to constantly. Zig Ziglar is one of my guys. I love him so much. So that's some great words right there. All right. So what I'd like to do here is, you've been doing this for quite some time, but I'd like to know maybe one of your major accomplishments that you've had up to this point. Do you have an accomplishment you'd like to think about or talk about?
The first 2 to come to mind, other than the birth of my 2 daughters, one was adopted. Yeah. Passing the Arizona bar exam the first time was an accomplishment. Hiking Mount Kilimanjaro was an accomplishment. Writing 3 novels, 2 of which are published, writing the 5 books on health. Those are all accomplishments. But probably the best accomplishments I have are helping others on their health journeys. And they come back to me and they've lost 25, 30, 40 pounds. And more importantly, over 2, 3 years, they've kept it off. And they tell me, I love my new lifestyle. I love my new life, because it wasn't a diet that they went on. Again, diets are temporary, extreme, potentially dangerous to your health, and hard to stick with. But if you have a lifestyle with habits that you enjoy and that work for you, you'll stick with it. So as an entrepreneur, you want to create work habits that you enjoy, that work for you, and that way you'll keep doing it. If there's something that you do not like doing and you dread it, you're not going to do it. So figure out how to make it that. Mike Tyson said it best when they asked him about getting up and working out in the morning. He says, do what you hate as if you love it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to put that. But when we're doing something, we have to make sure we have a passion for it, that it's in our zone of genius. It's everything that we want it to be. So it's not so hard. If it's something you would even be willing to do for free, then you know you're doing the right thing.
Exactly. If you're not willing to do it for free, you're not passionate about it, you're in the wrong industry or business or whatever you're doing, because you're going to be miserable. And as a former lawyer, I can tell you 85% of attorneys out there would rather be doing something other than practicing law.
Yeah, unless you have a passion for law, it's not really fun, I guess you could say.
And my dad used to tell me, if you do something that's fun, it's not work.
Yeah, exactly. So since a lot of my listeners here are new entrepreneurs that are just getting started, if you were to come across a new entrepreneur that told you that he's just getting started in business, what 1 or 2 pieces of advice would you actually give them to get them started?
The first one is eat a healthy lifestyle. And I can go through those 9 simple golden rules real quick for the entrepreneurs so they have them. The first thing is drink a lot of pure water. And when I say pure water, it can be distilled water, spring water, or water with a 6-stage reverse osmosis. Again, if you ask different experts, they'll give you different answers. So whatever going to work best for you. But our bodies are 60 to 70% water. You want to make sure that you're hydrated, because 75% of the US population is chronically dehydrated, which has a direct correlation to 72% of the US population being overweight, of which 42% are clinically obese. So you want to drink water. Our bodies are not made of soda, diet soda, fruit juices, energy drinks, or milk. Now, if you want to have an alcoholic beverage, a little bit, that's up to you. I stopped drinking alcohol because I read it was no matter how small the amount, even a glass of wine, it was still detrimental. So that was my choice. However, my wife still enjoys her glass of wine every night and at dinner. So it's up to the individual. We decide what we put into our bodies. But that's the most important thing is get rid of the sodas and diet sodas and drink the water. And then avoid the ultra processed and highly processed food and manufactured foods. It's very toxic. They put chemicals in there that they don't need to. The Gatorade formula only had about 4 or 5 ingredients in the original one. Today it's about 12 or 13. Why? It's cheaper to add the chemicals and make it that way than use the original. Again, instead of having a glass of orange juice, which is unhealthy, contrary to their marketing promotions, because it takes 4 to 8 medium oranges to make a glass of orange juice, which is all the sugar then. So I asked people, would you eat 4 to 8 oranges at one time? Most people say no. Well, that's how much sugar you're putting in your body with one glass of orange juice. So eat the orange, eat the apple, eat the pear, enjoy the berries, and watch out for the artificial ingredients or the natural ingredients because they have a lot of chemicals in the natural ingredients. Again, marketing tactics. So those are the first 3 golden rules right there. Drink water, avoid highly processed, ultra processed manufactured foods, and eat real holistic whole foods. And the other thing I would say is get adequate sleep, at least a minimum stay of 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep. If you have a TV in your bedroom, I would take it out. If you have your cell phone in your bedroom, I would put it in a different room. The only thing we use is an alarm clock for my wife. Other than that, there are no electronics in our bedroom.
Yeah, that's good to know. I mean, a lot of us will have our phones right next to us no matter what. We get a notification or something that wakes up, oh, I got to check it real quick before I go back to sleep and make sure it's not important. And now we break that sleep cycle, then we have to start all over again to get to deep sleep, and then it just turns into
Or if you have an international client, they forget about the time zones.
oh yeah, that's yeah, time zones.
Daytime for you, that was nighttime, you're sleeping, and they call you inadvertently or forgot and wakes you out of a deep sleep. It's detrimental to your health. What they found is a person who is sleep deprived will consume an extra 500 calories the next day.
Interesting. I didn't know there was I didn't think there was a correlation between sleep and calorie intake.
Absolutely. Done a lot of research, not me, but others.
Right.
And I read a lot. So I figure out, again, if the studies are valid, who sponsored them, who's funding them, because depending on who's funding the studies can depend on what the outcome is.
Exactly. Exactly. Speaking of reading, I see in a picture behind you, is that your book behind you there?
Yes, that's my 5th book, Jaded Health. It's available on Amazon and other bookstores. I'm really proud of it. And the reason I'm so proud of it is because there's about 16 or 17 short stories and parables with life lessons in there. And the life lessons can be applied to everything. I just took them and applied them to eating healthy and living a healthy lifestyle. But they are life lessons for all businesses and everyone. So I put so many in there because one person, a story may resonate with one person and not another. So there's something in there for everyone. And it's designed that people don't have to read it cover to cover. They can just flip through it and pick out a story or a parable. And they're usually a page or two. I think the longest one is 3 pages. Quick and easy to read.
Fantastic. So if anybody's interested in that book, I'm going to have it in the show notes. We'll have a link there for you to take a look at it and possibly buy it if you'd like to know more.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So what I like to do with all my guests is in the next 6 months, what do you have planned for yourself? Do you have any goals for the next 6 months?
Yes, my goal is to obtain 100 new employees through various companies, whether it be 25 with one company, 50 with another, or whatever, over the next year. So I have 100 new employees to help them with their corporate health and wellness. Because what I've learned is that to replace one employee can be either 1/2 to 3 times their annual salary, depending on their position. So if you can help the employee from having stress, burnout, and turnover and retain them, you're saving money. the employees happier, they're more productive, and it increases the bottom line for the company. Not only that, if you're offering a health and wellness program like that, you can attract higher quality applicants for the position.
Exactly. Happy employees means happy money, I guess you could say, or something like that.
Happy and healthy employees.
Yes. That's awesome. So what I'd like to do with you, David, is in the next 6 months, I'd actually like to follow up with you and have another interview just like this and see if you've hit those goals and see what changes have come across you in this 6 months. Is that okay?
Absolutely. Would love to do it.
Fantastic. All right, David, this is your time to shine. This is the time I want you to advertise yourself. How do we get a hold of you and all that good stuff? Okay, ready, set, go.
I'm David Medansky. I'm known as the Health Guy. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram, Facebook, and you can also reach out to me at davidmedansky@gmail.com. And also you can check us out at jadedhealth.com. We also have a TV series, and the first 12 episodes, first 2 seasons are up there at jadedhealth.tv.
Fantastic. That's awesome. David, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to be on the Undiscovered Entrepreneur. We really appreciate you and your information.
Thanks, Jesse. I appreciate being a guest today.
All right. All right, Scuba Believers, make sure you stay tuned for the wrap up. All right, everybody. Thank you. Bye-bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was David. A lot of fantastic information. I love David's personality and how he comes through so authentically with everything that he has to say. But we did talk about a couple of really powerful things, and I want to make sure you heard them. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. David reminds us of this powerful truth from Zig Ziglar, who I love. He wasn't a doctor, nutritionist, or certified trainer when he began his health journey. But his real-world experiences and passion drove him and to help others transform their lives. And I said this in the interview too. We don't necessarily need all the certifications. We don't need all the certificates. But us having the experiences of going through these things ourselves and experiencing these things ourselves puts us in a very special place that a lot of other people don't get to experience. And we can use that to our advantage for helping other people experience the same things that we did. In Hollywood, they called it a mistake. I love that. When actors miss their mark or simply shoot again until they get it right. Just like David's journey from a golf cart game to reimagining it as a pirate game called Cutthroat, which was rather interesting. He didn't see it as a failure, but as a $70,000 learning investment that taught him a valuable lesson about businesses and perseverance. That's expensive for a lot of us, probably for all of us. But let's not forget, when we do have these problems in situations where it does cost us a little bit of money and we do fail at it, it is a learning experience that we can take back to our next entrepreneur adventure and make it that much greater. And with that, I'm going to say thank you very much for another episode of the Undiscovered Entrepreneur Get Across the Start Line. And I will look forward to seeing you again. Goodbye, everybody. And there you have it, future entrepreneurs. We've taken another step towards our journey to get across that start line. Remember, every great business starts with a single idea and the courage to pursue it. You've already shown that courage by joining us here today. As we wrap up this episode of The Undiscovered Entrepreneur, I want to remind you that the start line isn't as far away as you might think. With each bit of knowledge you gain, each fear you face, you're getting closer to launching your dream. Until our next episode together, keep pushing, keep dreaming, and most importantly, keep taking those steps across the start line. They'll all add up to big strides in your entrepreneur adventure. This is Scoob, your guide across the start line. Remember, your future is waiting. I can, I am, I will, and I'm doing it today. Hello, Scuba Believers. Let me ask you a real quick question. How many cups of coffee have you had today? 3, 5, 7? And let me guess, you've got a Red Bull in the other hand just in case, right? Yeah, I see you. Now, here's the truth bomb nobody wants to hear. You're not building a business. You're building a caffeine dependency. Listen, I get it. When you're grinding 12, 14, 16-hour days, you're building something from nothing. When you've got payroll to meet, investors to impress, and visions that won't wait. You need fuel. But what if I told you that the fuel that you're using is actually slowing you down? What if the very thing that you think is keeping you sharp is actually making you dull? Enter Rise Coffee. This isn't your grandma's mushroom tea. This isn't some hippie wellness trend. This is science meets performance. And here's what makes Rise different. Less than half the caffeine of a regular cup of coffee. But here's the kicker. You won't miss it. 6 organic powerhouse mushrooms, including cordyceps, what Olympic athletes use, and lion's mane, what Silicon Valley biohackers swear by. Sustained energy that doesn't spike and crash. We're talking smooth, clean power from morning to moonlight. Crystal clear focus without the jitters. Imagine closing the deal with calm, confident mind instead of the caffeine chaos. Gut health and immune support, because what's the point of building an empire if you're too sick to enjoy it? So here's the challenge to you. Stop borrowing energy from tomorrow. Stop running on fumes and call it a hustle. Stop wearing your caffeine addiction like a badge of honor. Real entrepreneurs optimize, real entrepreneurs adapt, real entrepreneurs win. You can't win if you're crashing at 2 p.m. while your competition is just getting started. Break the cycle. Head to risesuperfoods.com right now and use code PODNA15 for 50% off your first order. That's PODNA15 for 15% off. Try it for 30 days. If you don't feel the difference, if you don't feel sharper, calmer, more focused, more alive, then go back to your 6-a-day cup habit. But I'm telling you, we won't, because once you feel what real energy feels like, you'll never go back. Ditch the addiction, fuel your empire, and rise up. Rise Coffee, energy that builds, not burns.